What is going on, everyone? It is Tyler McKinney back here again, and today we're going to get into the CFL. Now, if it's your first time here, glad to have you. If you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back and thanks for watching more videos. And if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. Now, all of you guys who have been so generous to me, all my Canadian friends out there and CFL lovers, thank you for being gentle and kind with me down in the comment section and that with it. I know I kept saying provinces, and it's provinces. And I'm learning. I'm trying. Manitoba, not a man in a tuba or whatever it was. Thank you for that laugh. I apologize. Like I said, I'm learning this thing. But I want to make this video today. There are a couple things. One that kind of just frustrates me and makes me angry and mad. And then the next thing is just some advice that I have for the CFL. Now, granted, this is coming from American. Now, I don't really know kind of the whole Canadian landscape, and I apologize. I'm just giving my thoughts on what's going on right now. So first, last week, Vernon Jr., who used to be an Oregon Duck, who is now the quarterback for the Montreal Alouettes, who just got a 3-year extension worth $1.5 million total with all of the stuff and the incentives and the things and that. It's a really nice deal for a CFL player. I know for a lot of you guys looking at this, when it comes to pro sports, you know, you're used to seeing millions and millions of dollars. This is a really, really nice deal. And so he's, out there on Twitter, and for whatever reason, feels like he needs to come to the defense of the CFL. I don't know why, but he starts to compare the CFL to the XFL. And the first qualm that I have is with him talking about competition. Listen, I get it. You just got paid. And I do appreciate what you're trying to do, uphold your league. But you don't need to do it at the expense of another league. And I would watch what I'm saying and what I'm doing because, I could tell you there was a lot of good talent in the XFL. And there's a lot of guys who signed some NFL contracts to where I know that the guys are bantering back and forth. And I'll have a link down in the description. You can look at the banter back and forth. But just if you're going to make a comment about the XFL, just make it based upon the XFL. You're glad to see that it's back, that there's another option. Being an American, you like seeing another, American Football League for Americans. Instead, he and the other guy that they're bantering back and forth, they're both American CFL players. They're kind of just saying the competition's better in the CFL. I don't really know that that's the case, and I will say that it's not the same game. It's a different game. It's a different style of game. It's played totally different, and from my standpoint, I don't necessarily see that. Again, it's a different game, and now we're comparing things that we don't need to be comparing, but I can tell you that he would have had a really hard time, Mr. Adams would have had a really hard time of finding even a spot for himself on a roster. That's all I'm saying. From the quarterback talent that they had and the guys that were playing and the way that they were playing and the level of play that they were at. And I know that the mainstream media, all of those guys, they said what they said, and that's fine, and they took their digs at the XFL and this and that. But those of you who watch the XFL, it would have been hard for him to even find a spot on a roster, let alone be starting in any of these games. So there's my first thing, and it kind of ticks me off, and I'm trying to be nice because I'm trying to learn the CFL, but the XFL is my baby. I love the XFL. I'm a big XFL guy, and when you start hitting at it, start trying to tear it down and start take some stabs at the XFL, you start, I'm going to come out swinging with it. And that's just the way it is. And from what I've seen, I don't see anything that would hold up any of those statements that you're saying. And again, I get it that, you're a dude, you gotta hold your place up. but you don't need to do it at the expense of another league. Just make the comment about the league that you're glad that there's a second league and that it's going to continue on and move on from there. The second comment that he makes for me is just frustrating because here's the thing. And the other guy points out the comment in a tweet, and I'm going to go and expound upon it. The problem is that the CFL has been around for 100 years. Great. Whoop-de-doo. You ain't made any money, and you're on the verge of literal collapse and not having a season. And I get it. Everybody's in that boat. But to make comments like that and, that the XFL's failed twice, if it weren't for bailouts, the CFL wouldn't be around. And it's multiple bailouts at multiple times. They projected that they lost, I think it was somewhere around $20 million last year. It's ridiculous to make those comments. And that's leading me into the next thing that I think that the CFL needs to do. The CFL really needs to take this as an opportunity. And here's where I'm shifting gears. The comments tick me off, but the CFL really needs to get their act together and get their game together. But the thing that I'm saying here is they really have a shot. And CFL, you're probably not going to see my video. The bigwigs aren't. But hopefully somebody's listening out there. Hopefully somebody's watching this and understand you need to take advantage of this opportunity that you have. You need to take an opportunity right now. College football is on the brink of not having it. Right now, the Big Ten's already said that they're axing games. They're not going to have anything in the fall. And the rest of the Power 5 conferences are going to follow. It's all semantics right now. They're politicking and making each other, trying to make themselves look good, to show this or that they were trying their best, this and that, putting the best foot forward, trying to put up a good face, put up a good front. We aren't getting college football in the fall, which means the only football that we might get would be the NFL. Now, the NFL has kind of been flirting around with maybe putting some games on some different days. But I'm telling you, CFL, you have an opportunity to provide football for people where there isn't any other football going on. Now, I know the Spring League's supposed to be doing their thing, and if you want me to, let me know down in the comments, and I can cover the whole Spring League thing. That's a different thing. That's for guys who are trying to get noticed by, the CFL, the NFL, the XFL, and trying to get into a league. It's a little bit of a different thing. But the CFL, you have an opportunity. You have an opportunity here to really build your brand and do what Ambrosie's really been wanting to do over the past years and expand this league. You need to really change your business model here. Take the $30 million and really use it to your advantage. Get out of your old ways, out of the old tactics. You need to really start focusing on the online markets, on what you can do to really, get your league out there, what you can really do to utilize your social media to really put your product out there. Put the product out there that people want to see. And I keep going back to the XFL because the XFL did a really good job. They were ahead of where they thought they would be halfway through the season. Halfway through the season, they were way ahead of where they thought they'd be at the end of the season because they had run it such a way and they had done things in such a way and put such a good product together and put it in people's, put it in people's faces to where people could see it and people could be exposed to it and people could really enjoy it and do that. You need to do that. You need to first really look at, how you're putting your games out there, where you're getting your games. Your TV deals, you're not making any money off your TV deals. You really need to look into what you can do with streaming and how you can get this to more people and really get it to kind of that younger generation that are into the streaming, that are in there, and you need to get on social media. You really need to start working on those things, working in, whether it be Twitter, whether it be, that type of stuff, getting into that, but also getting into, the YouTube, the Facebook, all of this stuff, and really just kind of start to really move and really get that younger viewer and get those people that are in there with that to where you can really build up this fan base that you don't already have. You really need to do that. And you need to give the fans what they want. Fans want behind the scenes. Fans want to see what's going on outside of the game, the extracurriculars, the stuff that's happening behind the scenes, the stuff that has been really popular is reality TV. And it's not so much this fake reality TV where they, draw up all this drama. The thing is humanize it for us. Make them real people, not just people on the football field. And I've said this about XFL, and if you watch my XFL videos, you know this. It's the same formula. Look at the XFL and just copy it. It's not rocket science. No, I get it. There's more to it than that. You need to be inside your little bubble, do your bubble city, get things going, have cameras everywhere, showing everybody everything. Those guys that are electric, that are exciting, get the camera in their face, get what they're saying. The people who can talk to the camera, people who can get on the camera, get on the mic, get them on the mic. And you need to have the people who understand social media, you need to get them in positions to where that they can get the stuff out there. To get out there on social media, to do all this stuff, to put cameras in people's faces and stuff is not a lot of money. You can do it fairly cheaply, and with a large league like what you have, you can actually take that and really, it can really have legs. And with the money that you would normally spend in a lot of your advertising, a lot of your other stuff, to do a lot of your other things in a lot of these stadiums, you can really hone it in, bring in, and maybe actually make a profit off of this season. And granted, I know, I get it. $30 million is a lot of money, and you've got a lot of that already earmarked for pretty much players, salaries and stuff like that, and paying for the city, for Winnipeg, and having this bubble and the hotel rooms, and I get that. But you have an opportunity here. You are going to have an audience, and you aren't going to have to worry about any other football. People will be wanting football. They're not getting their college football, and they possibly might not even get the NFL. The NFL is so large, I don't know how they're going to be able to pull off a bubble type of city things. The CFL, there's only 9 teams. There's not a lot of you. You have a much better shot at doing this, and you already have the pieces in place. You already have the things in place. Just do it. Take this as an opportunity. Jump on it and run with it. And I know that it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, but you've seen that the NHL's been able to pull it off. And so you're already saying you're using their model. Follow them, do it. But you need to, there cannot not be a canceled season. You can't let that happen. And I know I use double negatives and people don't like that and it's not proper English, but I don't really care. What I'm saying right now is that you need to take this opportunity. Do not let it pass you by. If you want to be a viable league, if you want to make money, if you want to let people see your product, you're never going to get a better chance than right now. And I'm telling you, if you take the opportunity and do this, it's actually going to, it would have already been a great opportunity for you to begin with, but since you don't have the competition that you normally do, you're going to get more people. You're going to get more exposure. You need to really look into this. Now, granted, I will say, I don't know what the CFL's, what their TV deal looks like with TSN or anybody else or anything like that. So, I don't know what exclusive rights are there or what they're not, but they need to figure out a way to kind of work some of these things around and do some of these innovative things and really break out of that mold, because they are not the juggernaut that the NFL is. And they're a little bit more established, especially up in Canada, than what the XFL is. It really, and I'm starting to learn this, that the CFL is kind of one of these things that is, kind of more of a, a fixture, a mainstay, kind of just a thing that is in Canada. So it's a little bit more infused in things than it just being like a business juggernaut in the sports entertainment world, kind of like what things are in the US. So I'm just saying, you need to really take this opportunity. You need to quit fighting. You need to quit bickering. You need to just take the money. You need to run, make smart decisions, and you have a really nice business opportunity here now for you. So those are my 2 cents. That's my thoughts. I rambled on a little bit longer than what I probably should, but I hope my point got across. That the CFL, you really need to just take the plunge, quit dawdling around doing whatever you're doing. You've already given yourself 2 deadlines and you haven't even stick to either one of those of whether or not you're going to have a season. And now everything's just kind of in talks and nobody's heard anything. You need to just take the money, have your season, have a great season, and put all these things in place. And I think that things are going to look up really, really nice for the CFL once everything's all said and done. Those are just my thoughts. The question is, what do you think? I'd love to know down in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and we'll continue the conversation there. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get on out of here. So stay safe and keep up the hope. Have a good night. Bye.